Oh, my. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I'm glad to be. I'm mighty glad to be in the service. I'm mighty glad to be in the service. Girl, I do. Mighty glad. I'm glad to be in the service. Glad to be in the service of the Lord. Yes, I am. Oh, yeah. When I think about what He done for me, I get glad. Yes, I am. When I rolled this morning, I had heaven on my mind. When I got out of my bed this morning, I looked around and everybody was doing fine. Went down to the house of the Lord, just the way in my hand. I heard the choir singing, preacher was preaching, people were being saved all around. That made me glad to be in the service. Oh, that made me glad, oh Lord, to be in the service. If you feel like I feel, you ought to be glad. And the reason I'm glad I can still wave my hands when I think about what He done for me. I think about how He saved my soul. When I come to the house of the Lord, I want to give Him the praise. If you feel like I feel Him, you want to tell somebody, oh, I'm so glad. Oh, I'm glad to be in God's service. I'm mighty thankful, Lord. Anybody here glad other than me? All right, I'm glad to be in the service, glad to be on the ground and not have the ground on me. It is a blessing to have you sharing with us on Isaac Lindsey interviews on the Isaac Lindsey Network. And I appreciate each of you for coming in and being with us on this wonderful day. I have a very special guest that is joining me, and we are going to be talking about the information that is there on your screen, the Women in Ministry Gala. So we hope that you plan to be a part of that great event. And we're grateful that my good friend, my sister, my classmate, my church member is sharing with us also right here on Praising the House, the Isaac Lindsey show on the Isaac Lindsey Network. And we want to welcome the prophetess Leigh, Lasagna Johnson Matthews. I know all your names. How you doing?
That's right. I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you for
Wonderful,
having
and
me.
it's a blessing to have you sharing with us now. Um, Tell us, first of all, for somebody that may not know exactly who you are, give us a brief bio and just let us know who Prophetess Leigh Matthews is and where she came from and how she got to where she is on today.
Oh my goodness, we would have to take all night long. However, shortly, I am Lee. Matthews. So if you're anywhere from the Lexington, Mississippi area, then you know about some Johnsons. There's some Lee Jesse Johnson, which that is my branch. If anybody knows anything about Lee Jesse Johnson, then you know me. Okay, so that's my daddy, and Betty Lee, that's my mama.
All right.
So I hail from Lexington, Mississippi. Graduated from Jacob J. McLean High School, class of 1992.
Go class of
The
92.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Got married and moved away to Aberdeen, Mississippi, right now, which is where I reside. And so, secularly, I'm a nurse by trade. Been a nurse for now going on 24 and a half years. Um, and enjoying that. Got my call in the ministry back in 2011, and I've been just matriculating through that since then. I'm now a member and have been a member of the Monument of Grace Church in Greenwood, Mississippi. So this is where this gala is going to be held, where my father is the pastor, overseer, and bishop there. And the history behind that is he is one of the first, if not the first, in the area of Greenwood, Mississippi, to allow women to grace the pulpit to minister, because
Awesome.
that was
Awesome.
not a popular thing when he did it some 20 years plus ago. So that
Well,
is
believe
kind
it
of
or not,
how
it's still not
that
popular
started.
in a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
circles.
Absolutely. And he was certainly, not popular during the time that it happened back some years ago. But he was Baptist, and then, God saw fit to whisper in his ear and say, "Hey, look, women have a place in ministry." And it wasn't just the place that some men decided to give and say, God didn't say a couple of things in the Bible that we often quote God as saying. Paul actually said those things, and when he was teaching Bible. So when we look at ministry as a whole, when God saw fit to give the first word of his resurrection to Mary Magdalene, it wasn't the men who were there. They were somewhere else praying or afraid or whatever. But God saw fit to say, "Hey, you go tell them what I said." So, had she not been the first courageous woman, there would be no us. And back to everybody. So that's just
Awesome.
the biblical base of that.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm
I don't
excited
know if
about the gala that is planned, and you're honoring a lot of
yes,
women in
yes,
ministry. I hope we're not talking over
yes.
each other. Um,
No.
your signal's going out a little bit, but you're honoring a lot of wonderful women in ministry, women in business, women in politics. So this is not just a women in ministry gala, but it's kind of a women in leadership gala. And we salute you for doing this awesome event. And I see Carolyn Wilson Smith, they're honorees as well. So you're even honoring women in music ministry. So let's talk a little bit
Mhm.
about some of the honorees and your vision behind inviting them to be a part of this historical event.
Okay, so where will we start? Let's see. I tell you what
Let me
we'll
let me
do is
put the
let you
pictures
kind of
up
just pull
as
the
I
pull
as
the
I got them,
roster. Yeah.
and then you tell me as we go by picture. Well, I'll tell you how I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with my radio mentor, the young lady that taught me radio many moons ago, and she trained me how to do radio. Reason why you don't hear me talking in the middle of songs like some DJs do, and I'm not knocking them, those that do, but
Right.
Joyce Seymour told me a
Absolutely.
long time ago that was unprofessional. Today, we use the term "you elope," but before we
Absolutely.
use uh, the term loc. Joyce Seymour just told me, hey, don't ever talk in the middle of a song. That is unprofessional. You talk either in the first 10 seconds of the song or in the last 10 seconds of the song because people want to hear the music. They don't want to hear you talk over the
That's right.
music. And that stayed with me, and that
That's
has
right.
put me on over. Now I'm up to over 50 radio stations across the country
There you go.
that carry my
There you
show.
go.
So Joyce Seymour, tell us why you tapped her to host and MC this great event.
Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you, I call her affectionately, I call her auntie or auntie because she also a trained person who could have done this other than her. I don't know of anyone who could pull this off other than her. Because this event is something of a one off, I thought long and hard and we prayed about it. And Daddy was like, you know what? I know somebody who can pull that off. And because she is one of the first women who was in radio ministry, it was just it was just birthed that way. That's just how it came off. So I called her, and of course, she was floored that she would even be considered. And people tend to forget if people are not just in the face and in their normal places of she's been in radio. If she's not been in radio for a moment, you tend to forget. And I think that event that you all had, just kind of piggybacking off of that, kind of brought to light some of the unsung heroes in the area. So she is one of them. So it was just befitting that she would be the MC for the first women ministry gala, because that is her ministry, the
Awesome.
gift of gab.
All right. Now, who is this next young lady that's on your
Mhm.
list?
That is that is a posthumous award that we'll be giving. That was one of the longest standing financial secretaries at our church. She was an excellent uh, woman of God. So it was just befitting her. Her daughter is actually the tax assessor. I believe it's assessor in Greenwood in LaFour County.
Okay.
Pam Keys. So her ministry is a legacy of finance and excellence, just ministry in the church, just being faithful to this ministry. So it was just befitting that we bestow that honor upon her. So
Awesome. Awesome.
mhm.
All right. And I think that's Miss Freddie, ain't it?
That is none other than Miss Freddie White Johnson. Um, Fannie Lou across every corner of Mississippi, helping those with breast cancer get their screenings if they're unable to, and the men now following up with the prostate cancer, men in black and blue. So just kind of for community service and health awareness. So that was just befitting that she would be one of the first women to also be honored.
Okay, and
Mm.
she's in the middle of a big building project in
She
Ruleville
is
where
Louisville,
they're
Mississippi.
building a cancer
Yes,
center and naming it in honor of the late Fannie Lou Hamer. So that's a
that's right.
major feat in
It
itself.
is.
And I want to say congratulations
I
to
do
her and her
too.
awesome, awesome staff. All right.
Absolutely.
I know this
Absolutely.
young lady right here also. She serves as one of Holmes County's
Supervisors.
Board of Supervisors
That's
members.
right.
She's also a former president of the Board of Supervisors
That's
in Holmes
correct.
County, former educator, the
Hmm.
first black mayor of Goodman, Mississippi.
That's right.
And she does so much for our community even now. But I'll let you tell the
Absolutely.
audience
Well,
who she is.
And that is none other than Miss Deborah Mabry. And so you've basically hit the nail on the head with her, but the community service piece is her ministry. And it has followed her throughout her career, now being the supervisor there in Holmes County. So it was just befitting also that she be honored as well. So,
All right, and I
yeah,
think her district is District 3
I believe
in
so.
Holmes County.
I believe so.
All right, and I know these young ladies here as well.
Listen,
They are what you
listen.
call some serious chirpers now. They sing like mockingbirds.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And I'm an honorary member. I promise you I am. I have been since I was a little girl. Oh my goodness. I love them. They are affectionately known as Daddy's Girls. That is none other than the Wilson Singers. The ladies of the Wilson Singers as Carolyn, Deborah, and Marilyn Wilson, and Smith, Luckett, and all that good stuff. However, Wilsons. That I don't know what else to say. If you look them up, the Wilson Singers of Chula, Mississippi, follow them on their Facebook page, and you'll see all of the wonderful videos. But let me tell you, it ain't just videos, and it ain't just records and CDs and songs. I mean, if you can go to one of the shows where they're on, it's just like flipping the switch on the CD and you hearing them. That's been that way for years. So our families are intertwined because their dad and my dad sang quartet together for years. So because they've been in ministry for so long, I don't even know how long, for being from little girls being
I
taken
think they was
around by their
born in it.
parents. Yeah. I mean, it's just in them. So it's just that is befitting
And we also have to mention that their
for
brother
being
Derek is
a part
one
of
of the
this
premier
gala and being
um, sound guys, and he's also Holmes County supervisor of
yes,
District 5. So,
yes,
and of course, we got to mention
it
mom and dad
is
too. They're just great community servants. The Wilson family has truly been a blessing
absolutely
to Holmes
yes.
County, Mississippi for a long, long
To
time.
the
And
community,
they are my
to
mama's
the
favorite
community.
group. She'll tell me in a minute,
Oh no, yeah,
and you know she
okay,
calls them by the name. Put Cal and Billy and them on.
yes. That's it. That's it. My
All
favorite
right,
group ever since I was a little girl. I
Th-
mean, I love them. I love them.
that's
There's
awesome.
just it's
All right,
non-negotiable.
who is this next young lady?
That is none other than Miss Lisa Walker Cook. Now, this young lady, her specialty is mental health. But let me tell you, here in our district, we had an issue with bullying. And she was one of the first to write a book and actually have that book introduced into our school district for as required reading. Kind of put a bug in the ear of the superintendent at that time because my daughter was actually having issues and my son was having issues with bullying in the school district. And so they made her book a part of the required reading, which also kind of helped to reduce some of the bullying that was going on at the elementary level. And my son is actually the start artist for the book cover. He actually drew the art for her book. So she's really instrumental in the community for just advocating for children and injustice. So
Awesome,
it was
awesome.
befitting that she would be honored as well.
All right, and who do we have next?
We have none other than Miss Luella Stevens. Now, Luella has had a catering company for the longest here in the city of Aberdeen. But she is not only known for that, she is known for her ministry of helps. Um, if you'll notice, this has been a varied area of ministry, and it's not just first ladies or people who conventionally preach in the pulpit. Her ministry is helping the community. She goes around and visits the sick, sisters, travel and go all different places. But when I tell you, if somebody's sick, she's going to see about them. If somebody needs something, she's going door to door, helping out with whatever it needs to be done. So it was befitting that she's always suggesting uh, for someone else to get some help. Such and such. Even with this, when I let her know that she was one of the honorees, she said, "You know what? There's another lady that I think she should be honored." So she's always trying to suggest, and I said, "No, this is your moment. This is your time to be honored." So it's just befitting for her. It's been a long time coming. Anybody needed help with anything, and even with food, or with catering, or with house cleaning, whatever it is that was needed to be done. When people died, she was always going to see about somebody. So it's time for somebody to see about her, and so she's being honored that night.
Awesome, awesome. All right.
Mhm.
And that lady looks
That
very familiar as
is
well.
none other than the pastor of the East Percy Street Church in Greenwood, Mississippi, and her name is Pastor Renee Baker. So she is being honored. The pastor of that church, who was previously there, passed away, and I think she was serving her, and in a capacity of possibly the assistant pastor, but I'm not sure that she was even named that. But sometimes we can just serve in a place for so long, and then God sees fit to elevate us. So she is now in her years of elevation. So she is now the pastor of the East Percy Street Church, and so we're just glad to have her. Her mom attends our church. She's a usher, and if you ever hear of my dad referred to an usher called, we call it Allstate, like your money is in good hands with Allstate.
Uh-huh.
So, but it's befitting as well for her to let her light shine. She's also one of my Eastern Star sisters. A lot of people don't know that because I'm not as affiliated as I used to be, but um, it's befitting for her to be honored as well at this gala.
Awesome. And we congratulate her. She's a jewel of a lady. All right.
Absolutely.
Who else do we have?
Yes, Michelle Leigh. Now, I met this young lady, little story behind her. McDowell, Michelle A. McDowell, met her at the Broken Crayon Still Color. There was an event that Pastor Baker had at our church. And this young lady has a ministry of helps with the Department of Corrections. God called her to minister in the Department of Corrections. So that is what she does. So her ministry of helps is uh, being there. And she said it's ministering in the Department of Corrections with care. And not a lot of people could look at that particular ministry as a caring type ministry because it's a lot that happens there, a lot that happens and goes on at the penitentiary. So they need some help. They need some ministry. They need some people who care about them as well. So just because they may have done some things wrong or may not have done anything wrong at all, to just get there, she can speak a word over their lives and maybe introduce them to God even in that situation. So I thank God for this young lady. And so she shared her story with, and it kind of touched our hearts. So it was befitting to see her passion with care and of corrections. So that is her ministry.
Awesome, awesome. And those of you that are just coming on, this is the Isaac Lindsey Network, Isaac Lindsey Interviews, and I'm talking to Prophetess Leigh Matthews from the Monument of Grace Church in Greenwood, Mississippi, about the Women of Grace, Women in Ministry Gala. And we hope to
Mhm.
see you on Saturday, June the 8th, 2024, at
Absolutely.
6 p.m. at Monument of Grace Church. Bishop Lee J. Johnson Family Life Center. That's 707 Brentwood Avenue and Robin Circle in Greenwood, Mississippi. It's going to be an awesome celebration, and we
Yes.
certainly hope to see you there. And we are just telling you about some of the women who are being honored in this great event. And
Hmm.
we want you to come. And if you are a female minister, we certainly want you to be there. We want you to bring your church family, want you to bring your family and friends to
Yes.
come and have a wonderful evening as we honor and celebrate women in ministry and women in leadership. So trust me when I tell you it's
Yes.
an event that you won't want to miss. All right, now who do we have next, Prophetess?
Oh my goodness. The psalmist, the first lady. Oh, I just don't know what to say. If you hear her voice, you will never forget it. That's Denise Sanders. Um, right now, her maiden name escapes me, and she's gonna kill me for that. But now all I know is Denise Sanders.
All
But
right.
look her up. Go on her Facebook page. Oh my goodness, this young lady. Is at a loss for words when I tell you she could just about sing the ABC song and make you get happy. I promise you, it is the truth. But I love her spirit. She is now a spiritual life coach, and she does a lot of lives and a lot of things on Facebook and on TikTok. So you go and follow her. But when I tell you I don't know if she's accepted this calling, but a prophetess. Oh yeah. Um, this young lady is anointed to do exactly what she does. Her husband, um, Pastor Sanders, is an awesome man of God. He used to be the youth um, state pastor or state minister for Full Gospel Ministries. So when I tell you though, you have not heard a voice. When you hear hers, you have not heard a voice like it. I
Awesome,
tell you.
awesome. Well, I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to hearing her as well. All right,
Yes.
now this next young lady, I definitely know her. In fact, her husband is one of my longest clients at
Hmm.
WAGR and WXTN. He has been coming on the air ever since I've been in radio, so now for 37 years. And I say this all the time, even though he's not my pastor, I've listened to more of his sermons
Hmm.
than any other preacher in history
Hmm.
because I have to make sure they're right for airing every Sunday at 11 o'clock. So 52 weeks out of every year, I listened to Bishop William Dean Jr., pastor of the Mother
Yes.
Church, St. Paul Church of God in Christ of
Church
Lexington,
of God in
Mississippi.
Christ.
And he's also the Northern Mississippi jurisdictional prelate for the Church of God in
Church of God
Christ
in
of
Christ.
Mississippi. And I'll let you tell
Absolutely.
us who this lovely lady is.
Oh my goodness. Mm. When she walks in the room, she owns every bit of it. And the crown that she has on her head has always been her signature between her and my grandmother, I tell you. The late Willie Ann Wade. I don't know anybody besides her that can wear a hat better. Okay. And that is none other than missionary lady Joanne Dean. And I tell you, I am so excited to hear what word she will bring because she is our guest speaker for that night. And I know that she's going to have a powerful word that is going to inspire, encourage, uplift these women. And because she has been in ministry so long and just kind of been to the side, and now she has a grand platform to be able to encourage those who have been in waiting. So I'm just excited She is also my cousin. So I am just overjoyed to have her accept and be our guest speaker for that night. So we're looking forward to the word that God is going to birth in her and through her on that night. Okay.
Awesome, awesome. All right,
Hmm.
let me go to the next one. Now, I know this young lady as well. She's a
Right.
homie.
Dr. Porter. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's from Holmes County as well. So we're excited to have her on our platform. Now, I'm gonna tell you, y'all gonna have to get on the ball because she's already got two tables of people coming with her. So she ain't just coming. Dr. Maddie Porter ain't coming. She is bringing it up. Okay. So y'all gonna have to work really, really hard to beat her at that. The people who are coming with her, she's already got two tables. So I'm just floored at what God has already done through her. And we've never met,
Wow.
but she was nominated to be an honoree at this event. So I'm looking forward to meeting her. Isn't that something? How God will connect people. And I've talked to her on the phone briefly, and our spirits just met and just hugged. So I'm waiting to meet with her face to face and hear more about what she has done. And she shared a story with me, and hers kind of mirrored why this event was birthed. How women can get overlooked for so long in ministry. So it was befitting that we would even get to talk to her and speak to her and hear her story and share her courageous story with us. So we're proud to honor her um, during this event.
All right.
Mhm.
Who do we have next?
Oh my goodness. This is Funmi Franklin. She is a proud Jackson native. I worked with this young lady with the State Department of Health for a few years, and her spirit and my spirit connected. She began with a foundation that helped to showcase plus size women. She is now an ordained minister. And when I contacted her, she was like, "Are you sure you me?" Because I am not one of those conventional ministers that gets up in the pulpit. And I said, "Yes, God laid you on my heart, and that is why, because you're not one of you. You will reach some people that I or someone else may not reach." So her ministry is spiritual enlightenment um, of the community. So she's done outreach, like I said, with plus size showcasing and joining women of all faiths and all areas of business. And so we just felt it befitting to honor her as well for her efforts in the community. So y'all go look her up. Fumi Franklin, Funmi Franklin. Okay.
All
Her
righty.
and her husband have a podcast, Brad Franklin. So look him up.
All right.
Okay. Krishan Hendricks is Elder Krishan Hendricks with the Full Gospel, Charity Full Gospel Church, where Bishop Bobby McCarter, who was the state bishop of Full Gospel, that is where she attends and is in the music ministry. And when I tell you a voice and an anointing, not only does she carry a voice to be able to sing, but Sister Girl can preach. She has a word. Okay. So I'm
Awesome.
telling you, to get to know her, the smile that you see on this picture speaks nothing about the smile that's in her heart when you meet her. So that is why I've known her for now about 20 years from afar, and we attended the same churches and circles. So it's befitting for her to be one of the first women to be honored as well.
Awesome. And I love her pastor, Bishop Bobby McCarter is a
Yeah,
special guy.
yeah. Now, yeah, you don't even you just see the smile and you already know who this is.
Hey, glory.
This is. And when you hear her voice, it is befitting for the smile. That's none other than the newly elected Pastor Vicky West of the Hayward Chapel Church. There in the right up the street and around the corner from Monument of Grace, in Greenwood, Mississippi. So, because she goes from place to place and town to town, city to city, and state to state, being that face of quartet and announcing and now pastoring. So she's ministering and then pushing her young men um, in ministry. That as a single mom, it was befitting. My heart goes out to her and her efforts. So it was befitting that she would also be honored during this time.
Yeah, she just did our Women's Day
Yeah,
at
I saw that.
New Zion, and boy, y'all, you talking about? We had some
I
church,
saw
and
that.
she's just an awesome, awesome jewel, and she's also over my birthday club. I used to be the only man in the birthday club, but I think another gentleman has joined us now. But that's my friend and sister, and I've been knowing her and her family, the West family, and all of them
Yes.
are so amazingly gifted. So I'm excited about seeing her there as well. All right. I know this young lady as well. She used to cook for me every day. I miss her
Listen.
being in Lexington so much, but she is one of the greatest cooks that has ever been birthed in these United States of America. Lord Jesus, she used to cook some jerk chicken for me, Lee. I cry because I miss it sometimes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Lord, affectionately known as B of Agape's, but I better give her her due title, Evangelist Beatrice Henderson.
Amen.
And she, like Luella up here in Lexington, Mississippi, was the person who would minister to your belly. Okay. She has
Yes,
now
Lord.
since begun to minister even further. So just because of that, sometimes it's hard to hear if your stomach is growling. So she was the one who began that ministry there in Holmes County and has it grown into where it is today. So we saw fit to honor her as well as a powerful woman in ministry at this first gala. So we love us some B.
All right. I know I do. And Miss Causey and her sister
Yeah.
Beulah in Chicago, her
Hmm.
other sister that always comes on my live. I can't think of her name. She gonna get me. But I've met most of the Henderson sisters, and I
Hmm.
believe all of them can cook.
Oh, okay.
Lenora, I think is her name. The other sister in Chicago, but there are some awesome, awesome women. Now I know this young lady as
Absolutely.
well. She's not just a
I
great preacher, but she is one of the most gifted and talented singers that this
Singers.
world has ever heard.
Ooh,
Tell us
Lord
about
Jesus. Oh my goodness. And that's none other than Pastor Kathy Anderson. Ca- Pastor Kathy Ellis Anderson. So, um, you know, what is it? Her daughter, I believe, was a year or so behind us. And son, I think a couple of years, or either the other way around, the son was a year or whatever. But we're looking forward to, I think she was one of, during that period of time when women were not popular as pastors to become a pastor in a church conventionally. So that is why she's been trying to sing it out for years. She tried to sing it out for years, but then God elevated her and called her on up a little higher. And you can sing in the pulpit too. So uh we saw fit to honor her as well. Sweet spirit, just a gentle heart. So we look forward to honoring those like her during this time at this event. So that
Awesome,
is
awesome,
why
awesome.
she was honored and chosen.
All right,
Now,
and I know this young lady as well. That's Joe Smith's daughter.
listen, she was our second women's event minister, keynote speaker. I don't know what you want to Lebanon doing this women's event or Women's Day this past Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And I know they had a glorious time, but that is none other than Jacqueline Smith Wilson. Um,
Buffalo,
and
Pastor Buffalo.
yeah, yes, Pastor Buffalo. But when I tell you, this young lady right here, I guess you can say she's a big sister to me. Okay. Um, well, I will say that because her little sister and I have been best friends since we was both not able to go on this trip in fifth grade, and so we, our dad has said, "No, you ain't going nowhere on no bus with them cheering nowhere that I don't know nothing about." Okay, so no, you staying at the schoolhouse, and that's what it was. So we sat in Miss Davis's room that day, and we hit it off because we were the only ones there. So after that, I spent some time at their house only because he was like, "Who is that?" "Oh, that's Lee Jess's daughter." "Okay, you all right with me." And so same thing with my dad. "Who is that?" "Oh, that's Joe Smith. Okay, all right." So Jacqueline has a special place in my heart. And I think now, because the acceptance of women is so prevalent, not only does Pastor Buffalo have him a wife, but I think he got him a co-pastor. If he don't be looking real close, because Sister Girl can show enough rightly divide the word. So it is befitting that um Sister Jackie be honored during this
Awesome,
time.
awesome.
Hmm.
All right, and I know this fireball of a lady as well.
Raw
My dear
House
friend.
Deliverance in Greenwood, Mississippi. Okay, that is Pastor Rosalind West, a major woman of God there in the city of Greenwood. And she shares the gift of crafting that I do also. But when I met her just kind of from afar, we were in the same room in the same areas, so many events. Her spirit just spoke to me. So she was nominated and will be honored that night as well for her dynamic ability to be able to minister, and has been pastoring for years at this little old church right there in the sweetheart city of Greenwood, Mississippi. And I thank God for her acceptance of this, and I don't know, it's just befitting that she would be honored as well. It's befitting. So
Awesome. And
we're gonna
she's
go give our tribute.
a part of that big West family. Her husband,
Yes.
Bishop John West, is a great preacher,
Yes.
pastor, musician, and
Hmm.
she's a great, great apostle, travels all over the country
Absolutely.
preaching and teaching the word
Preaching
of
the
God.
gospel.
And
Hmm.
then they also opened their building up. I've had
Oh
events
yeah.
at their venue
Hmm.
and their building there in Greenwood. So I
Hmm.
count them as great friends and fellow
Absolutely.
laborers in the gospel. And I'm grateful that she is one of the honorees, definitely deserving. All right.
Yes. Yes.
Who else do we have?
This is none other than, now she is our Aberdeen School District band director. Um, Actually, the first Black female band director, I will shudder to say. in the Aberdeen School District, and probably the youngest. She's just graduated several years ago, well, about 5 or 6 years ago. Nope, I want to take that back. Well, either way, she is one of the youngest band directors here. She is also the newly selected Miss Plus Mississippi. That is none other than Haley Mims from Aberdeen, Mississippi. She is such an inspiration to the young women here in Aberdeen and for the band students. Band program here is really been struggling for the last several years since we've had such a great set of band directors who were there for over 25 years to retire almost simultaneously. So they've been kind of struggling. And she came in as an assistant and has stayed there and now been exalted. She is the band director. And we're just excited and think that because of her platform now, she will also be able to just kind of inspire more young Black females to do what she's done. So she's a musician at her church. She the pianist there at Pleasant Grove. So she's just a wonderful lady. And she's also like if you've seen a lot of the quartet programs, the makeup artist for them around the state.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I
Yes.
think I've seen her at the Golden Triangle Awards.
Yes, yes, little old Haley. I remember her from going to church. She was just a baby when I came to Aberdeen. So, and she's now grown into a wonderful young woman. We're
Awesome.
proud of her. Hmm.
All right.
Now, Nisha Gray. This young lady, she also grew up in the same church as Haley, sang alongside her in church, and I've seen and watched her grow into the awesome young lady that she is today. She has a foundation where she also helps young people. She started off with the foundation to help young women, and now it's kind of grown into a young men's foundation as well. She ministers. She doesn't need a pulpit. She's a preacher by right, and she's also a former police officer. But what she does now is she uses her Facebook platform to preach every single day. Just go look her up, Nisha Gray, and she will come to your town and set it on fire with a crusade or whatever needs to happen. You get this young lady involved. She is the missionary of arts, okay, when it comes to rallying the community together and praising the Lord. So we're just excited about honoring her as well.
All right. Congratulations to her. Next. Can you hear me? I hope I didn't lose you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Okay, now you're back.
Okay. This woman right here, I love her and I'll say it publicly. This is none other than the University of Life pastor, co-pastor, Pastor Deanna Benson. Listen, if you haven't heard her, I encourage you to just go find the video. Pastor Deanna Benson. Go okay, she starts off in a manner in which you think, okay, all right, where's she going, and she builds on you and it builds on you and it builds on you. So I tell you, this powerful woman of God, I couldn't have thought women in ministry without thinking of her. um, I consider her a mentor of such. She is an awesome woman of God. And when I tell you humble is not the word, but she could preach you under a table and out from under it as well. So I'm telling you, befitting, very befitting of her being honored at this event. Pastor
All right.
Deanna Benson.
And I know this young
Now,
lady. I've been knowing her all my life, and her children as
yeah,
well.
yes,
I'm
hmm,
family.
absolutely. Yes. None other than Miss Leomia Boyd. Okay. Home don't seem like a home since mama been gone. Now, let me tell you, before I met her, and when I first moved up here, that was the first thing my daddy asked me. So, do you know, have you met Leomia Boyd? And I didn't know at the time that I had actually met her daughters. And she has twin daughters that I know very well, Misty and Christy. And I would see one, and I didn't know it was two of them. And at the time, they were in the school system. Well, one of them was in the school system teaching as an assistant teacher, and the other one, she's a nurse. So I would see one, and then one would look one way one day and be, and I thought, well, goodness, this person is really going through something. Because one day they'll speak like they know me, and the next day they see me and I'm speaking, hey, and they're like, hey. But I didn't know it was two of them. So the
Playing
funny
eyes
part was
playing
I ended
tricks
up
on
having
you.
to tell them that. Right. I thought, okay, she's really going through something. But I've since gotten to know both of them. And I realized that it was one or the other that I would see on those opposite days. So, and they can also sing like their mom. So the posthumous, that is one of the posthumous awards that will also be going out to Sister Boyd for her long standing ministry of song
Aw-
in our community.
Awesome, awesome. All right.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Personal story again. This is Elder Jackie Coleman. One of the first ladies to lay hands on me, and she doesn't even know this story. Um, when I was going through an issue about 15 years ago, and they diagnosed me with lupus, and then they said, no, it's not lupus, it's this or that or the other. And I took it to my church, and I was actually attending the church where her and her husband pastored there in Aberdeen. And my dad and them were here in Greenwood, were there in Greenwood at the church praying for me, and she laid hands on me and prayed for me as well. And I do believe that she is anointed to preach the gospel, a sincere person, and she's always been. So it was befitting that my former first lady be honored during this time at this event.
Awesome, awesome. All right.
Oh my goodness, she holds a special place in my heart and in the hearts of so many. This midwife, she is a literal midwife of sorts, I'll say, a literary midwife. She helps people write books. She is an author herself, none other than Tammy Gathings. Sweet spirited young lady. And as I said, what she does is she helps those who have a ministry of that they want to share with the world. And she helps to get them to get their thoughts down on paper and published. And that is what she does out of the kindness of her heart and for a fee, of course. But if you're looking for someone to help you birth the thing that God says will help somebody else, I encourage you look up Tammy Gathings. She's on Facebook as well, so it's
Well, I need to get
befitting.
her to help me write my
Yes, you
book.
do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Look, I've
She's
been
actually
scared.
going to help
I want to
Daddy.
do a book. Prophet is called "The Things I've Seen in the Checkup Room." Um,
Oh my goodness.
I don't look. I don't know if I would live long after I put it out. Though they might put a hit out on me for some of the things that I could share. But I got some other stuff that I need to share as well. I probably better stay away from that one. But I just want to do a book about some of the things I've experienced. You know, being in the music industry and even in ministry, even before I started officially preaching, I was still in ministry because I was always around preachers, always around
Yes.
gospel singing, always around somebody doing some kind of ministry. And even when I wasn't preaching in revivals back in the day, I would be the guy that would sit up to go and record preachers during the revival and make copies
Mm.
of their cassettes and later on CDs. But before CDs, people may not remember, we used to have little cassette tape recorders, and I used to duplicate the cassettes and sell them for the pastors during the revivals and
Okay.
their events. So I've been around ministry long before I started in
Absolutely.
ministry. So
Absolutely.
look, it's
Absolutely. So
it's
you
two or
just got
three
a
books in
bunch
me.
of stories.
Yeah, it's two or
See,
three books in me. I know right now.
well, you have to come to this event so you can meet her, and get that started. Okay, get that going.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right. I know this beautiful young lady as well. She's a part of our church
Pastor.
family.
Yes, yes, she is. She is. She wears many hats. She is Pastor Ethel King, and she is the financial secretary, and she is the head of trustees, I guess you can say, because anything and everything that has to be done at and for our church at any given time and preach the word. Now she can preach you under a table and out from under it as well. But this is none other than our own Pastor King, and we saw fit because she is a part of us to be honored as well during this time. We are so grateful and thankful that she is here with us. And believe it or not, she was told that she didn't have but 6 months to be here almost 2 years ago,
Wow.
that she is fighting and winning her illness. Okay. So I'm telling you, when I tell you that this and you can't tell it, she's steadily going like an energizer bunny. So we're grateful and we're thankful because a lot of things would not get done there at our church if it were not for her. So we give honor to whom honor is due.
Awesome. We absolutely salute Pastor King. All
Mhm.
right. Who else do we have?
Amia Edwards, her ministry of helps with the youth, introducing them to performing arts. She's originally from Bolton, Mississippi. So we saw fit to honor her as well. She was nominated by someone in that area, and not very many children have an outlet. The YMCA's and the things of yesterday that were politics plays a lot in some of those things, but it takes people unique like Amia to be able to take what they know and their specialty in radio and in television to be able to bring that out and see that in the youth and encourage encourage them that there is a way out of whatever situation they may be dealing with, to channel it in that manner. So we honor her as well for having that ministry of helps.
All right. Congratulations to her. And this is another young lady.
Kiri Jones. She is a member of our church as well. And Kiri is a young youth minister who left our fold, and she found her way in Oxford, Mississippi, actually, in some parts under Pastor Deanna Benson, and she is now, I think, in Starkville, newly engaged, but still helping to go around on campus. She started like campus ministries. So she left Greenwood, but Greenwood didn't leave her. And so she took it around with her when she went to Oxford, and now she is at Mississippi State University pursuing her master's and is still ministering the gospel. So with that being said, and she just graduated a couple years ago, few years ago. So we just honor her for continuing to do her work in the kingdom and want to
Awesome,
encourage.
awesome. And
Hmm.
I know this young lady here. I play
Oh
her
yeah.
records.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to love like Jesus. And oh my goodness, this is none other than Miss Annie, is what I affectionately call her. Miss Annie Caldwell of the Caldwell Singers of West Point, Mississippi. Um, she has been in ministry quite a long time, not just in singing, but she can dress you as well. She has a store there on the main strip of West Point. And so all and pretty much all of the first ladies and pastors' wives and quartet women go visit Miss Annie right there at Caldwell Fashion. So not only will she singing to you, she'll minister to you and dress you up as well. So we thank God for Miss Annie and Debo and uh, all of them for what they do in singing, honey. Because if you ain't never seen them and heard them, you are missing the treat. So we're thinking that that was a great honor to bestow upon her. They've been all around now ministering in several different countries here recently. Her and her brothers, the Staple Junior singers. So we thank God for Miss Annie.
Amen. All right.
Mhm.
Who do we have here?
We have Angela Clark Sherman. She is one of the Clark singers of Hamilton, Mississippi. Reverend Denville and his wife and their daughters, but she is also known as the songstress because she would take a song and make a song out of anything. And I tell you that because she's worked in the school district. She started out here in Aberdeen, and the children loved her so well because she began with them singing songs at the beginning of the day on the intercom. And that was the joy of some of their day. And they would just wait. They couldn't wait to be picked to be able to sing on. And I know she probably don't even remember that and don't even know that that was an impact. But because it was an impact on one of my children at the time when they were attending, they just could not wait to see if they were going to be picked that day to sing on the intercom at school. So because she has that vibrant personality, and she's always had that, she's also a promoter up in this area, I believe, for Quartet Gospel. So we saw fit it and that she would be honored as well as one of the women in ministry.
Awesome, awesome. Been knowing her a long time, and
Yeah.
their family is awesome. Even her brother, Stephen, is
Yes, Stevenson
Stevenson.
Clark.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Stevenson Clark is one of my radio brothers. All right, I know this young lady as well. I work for a couple of her radio stations.
Absolutely. And that's none other than Mrs. Kathy Lockett, the owner of the station that we're now talking about. So we're gonna let you give a little preview about her because we thank God for her coming into an area and into a town where the station was about to be in ruins, and now look where we are.
Amen. Well,
Black
um,
owned.
God has put us in each other's paths so many times. I actually met Miss Lockett many years
Hmm.
ago. I think like back in the early '90s at the
Hmm.
American Gospel Quartet Convention in
Hmm.
Birmingham, Alabama, and then I started just seeing her at different events that I would go to, and later after moving to Chicago um, I became a part. Well, first of all, met her also. I used to sell her cars. I sold her 3 or 4 vehicles, I think. And a mutual friend of ours, the guy that was co hosting her radio show, passed away. And she was looking for a co host. And a mutual friend, Margaret Chapman, we used to call her Margot from Chicago, recommended that
Okay.
I replace. the late Reverend Harold Washington as our co-host. So the rest is history. And then
Wow.
I started hosting her different events that she would promote because she's also a great promoter in Chicago, and I help co-host many of her events. And she's also a CPA. She's a certified public accountant. So her and her husband used to do my taxes every year. And
Mm.
I was sitting in their office, Lee, getting my taxes done. And Sandra Cothran, the late Brad Cothran's wife, who were the owners of the radio
Mhm.
station at the time, called me while I was sitting at her husband's desk getting my taxes done and said,
Wow.
Tyrone, Brad just passed, and I need to sell these radio stations. Can you help me? And
Wow.
I said, I'll do all that I can. And she said, well, um, I'm asking for 500,000
Mm-hmm.
for both stations, both towers, and the property that each station is on. And if you can help me find a buyer, just let me know as soon as possible, because I'm.
Mm-hmm.
This is an emergency situation. I said, okay. So, I talked. I had the conversation basically with Mr. Lockett, hearing the whole conversation. So when I hung up the phone, he said, "Do you think that station is worth it?" 500,000. I said, well, back in the day, I can remember Clear Channel coming and offering her mother-in-law, who used to be the mayor of
Mm-hmm.
Lexington, Fannie Cochran. I remember them offering her 1 million, and she wouldn't take it. They went back to the drawing board, came back with 1.5 million, and then came back for 2 million. But Miss Cochran wouldn't sell because she said it was her children's legacy. He said,
Mm-hmm.
well, call her back and tell her that you got somebody that's interested, but they're not. They don't want to pay 500,000 because Lexington is too small of a market, but they're willing to do 300,000 cash and see what she says. I called her right back. I said, Sandra, I may have you a buyer already. I said, my accountant is his wife is originally from Yazoo County, Mississippi, and she's in
Mm-hmm.
radio, and he may want to buy the stations for his wife, and he doesn't want to pay 500,000, but he said he's willing to do 300,000 cash. She
Mm-hmm.
said, when can y'all get down here? And the rest is history.
And the rest is exactly.
And now Miss
Oh
Lockett
my goodness.
still owns both of those stations, and not bragging, but it's just fact. We've been able to impact not just Mississippi, but people all around the world,
Absolutely.
broadcasting live. What I say, from the middle of a hayfield.
Yes.
So it's become a
Yes.
special place, and we've not only made changes to entertain Lee, but
Mhm.
the former chief of police of Lexington made a statement to his officers. I shot that N word 113 times. Well,
Yeah.
the officer brought me the tape. I played it on the radio.
I
The rest is history
remember.
on that.
I
That
remember.
chief was fired. I don't
Yes.
even think he can work in law enforcement anymore. And the city of Lexington and the city of Lexington Police Department are now under a federal investigation
Hmm.
because of that tape being played on the radio. Another
Hmm.
situation because of her owning the station that allowed us to bring exposure
Yes.
to a young lady was in, well, not a young lady, but one of our senior citizens was in Scott's Petroleum, and someone in there said, I hate uppity N words. Well, to
Mm.
make a long story short, that young lady came and told me what happened at the radio station, did an interview with her, and we caused a boycott of Scott's
Mm-hmm.
Petroleum, and and the county stopped buying their petroleum from them, and others stopped buying their petroleum.
Mm-hmm.
And make a long story short, that boycott lasted long enough for them to not only make changes, but also hire two
Mm-hmm.
black employees that now work in that office where we boycotted. So, because of
Mm-hmm.
Miss Lockett and because of her stations, we've been able to
Mm-hmm.
affect a lot of change. And I
In
certainly want to
Holmes
salute
County
her
and the
for
surrounding.
all that she does
Absolutely.
for our community. Even though she lives in
That's
Chicago,
right.
she has a house in
That's right.
Yazoo City, but she's been a great blessing to Holmes County, Mississippi. And
Absolutely.
your dad told me I get him to come and do voiceovers for me every once in a while. Your
Mhm.
dad told me that sometimes he used to pass by that station and so many bad memories would come up until it would make him
Mhm.
cry. Well, I tell him now you don't have to cry no more because we
That's
own this
right.
joint and
That's
everything
right.
in it. And anytime you want to come and say whatever you want to say, go wherever you want to go in here, you're welcome to. So I'm grateful for Miss Lockett and all
Absolutely.
that she's done for our community.
And so are we, because for so long, that has not been the case in Holmes County, and which is why it was probably comfortable for those individuals to be able to feel like they could say whatever they wanted to say and do whatever they wanted to do in that county. But thankfully for people like her and like you, and people feeling comfortable enough to invest in Holmes County, and such as herself, and employing people such as yourself to be able to bring those things to light. And we certainly thank her for her efforts and honor her during this time at this gala as
All right.
well.
Now I got one more. Who is that young lady right there?
Now, that's that 50-year-old woman.
Bling
Oh
blinging
my
in that red.
goodness. Lord have mercy. And listen, that is only because of the efforts. I'm glad you did that, because I would have forgotten completely. Ashford Photography and Films will be our photographers for that evening. That is Rodney and Nikki. We want you to come and please see them for your photography needs. They will be in the building taking snapshots and photos and everything that night. So we're telling you, this is a semi-formal, formal event. So please dress up as much as you please that night. Come and enjoy a great meal, some live entertainment, and just enjoy the fellowship of these great women in ministry. Please come and network. You never know who you may be able to reach out to that can help you with whatever it is that you're trying to do. Pass out your cards, enjoy the fellowship of others, and come and salute these great women. We're asking that if you are vendors in the area and you sell something or you craft something, we will have an area that will be set up just for you. You can cash out $Grace Ministries 2005, $25 is the ticket price, $25 is the vendor price. We want to see your face in the place that night to honor these women. And we just thank you and salute you, women, for what you have done in various areas of ministry. We cannot thank you enough for paving the way.
All right. Well, I certainly want to thank you for being a part of the show. I think it's been an awesome time on this evening, and we'll be sharing this on our page. Believe it or not, 715 people have already
What?
watched us on Facebook.
What?
I can't
Absolutely
see exactly how many have watched us on YouTube, but we're live on YouTube and Facebook at the
wonderful.
same time. Don't you thank God for technology?
Listen, I thank God for technology, and I just want to publicly thank you for even allowing us to use your platform. I'm almost in tears right now because I remember us sitting in our English class talking about the things that we would do as children. And I want to publicly say to you, I am proud of you
Thank you.
for just doing and being who you are, and just not even wavering from that. Even now, you have a platform that can reach so many. But I'm telling you, if I call him y'all, I don't care what time of the day or night it is, he is still, now daddy gonna shoot me, but because he is Bishop Isaac Lindsey, but he is still Tyrone.
That's right. I'm gonna
I
always
don't
be
care
tired. That's
what
what my mama called me.
nobody says. I don't care. You can say what you wanna, okay? That is my classmate, and I thank God for you still just being Tyrone. When you show up in the room, you're still Tyrone, even though you are bishop. And I want to congratulate you on the bishopry, if that is a word. Uh,
All right.
so on your accomplishments, I thank God for you allowing us to use your platform during this time for this event
All
and
right. Now
for
we
the
know Bishop
years.
is watching the game, so maybe we'll get him back on before the actual event takes place. But
No,
if people are looking for tickets, if they
yes.
would like to support the event, sometimes I have people that buy tickets that don't even come, but
Don't even show up.
they may just want to sow a seed and maybe give some tickets to someone
Please,
else to come. How can
please.
they get tickets digitally, online, or is there a location they can go to get tickets for this
There.
event?
There is now, first off, any member of Monument of Grace will be able to help you get tickets. They have tickets for sale. They're $25, as I said. Now, if you would like to, there is an Eventbrite that is set up, and I'll try to see if I can go back to this live and post the link. But it's Eventbrite, and you'll see the flyer and everything looks the same. Women in Ministry. It has the date June 8th at 6 p.m. You can go to there and click that link and purchase a ticket. You can also Cash App $Grace Ministries 2005, all one word, and put in the four line your name or your group name and however many tickets, of course, that you're purchasing. Or contact me directly, 662 And if I don't answer immediately, of course, I work during the day, so you can just text me, say, hey, I need to get some tickets, um or inbox me, Lee L Matthews, on Facebook. um you can get tickets that way as well. And we have people who are in Ruleville, in Greenwood, in Lexington, in Aberdeen, that are selling tickets. So just contact us, or if you contact Bishop Lindsey, he can get you and put you in touch with us or him. He will also have tickets as well. So we are encouraging you to go ahead, purchase your tickets so we can, make sure, of course, we have the catering ability to be able to accommodate everybody for that night.
All right. Well, again, I want to say thank you for being a part of the Isaac Lindsay
It's
Network. And this is my interview show, Isaac Lindsay Interviews. Um, Facebook puts me in jail a lot of times for playing music. So I
I
said,
see.
rather than just stop being live on my main page, I'll use my main page to promote events, interview different people, and just
Thank
share
you.
some of the great things that are happening. And I want to thank you for being my first guest on Isaac Lindsay Interviews. All right.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Now, for
you.
someone that may be going through, as we prepare to get off the live, um,
Mhm.
lead with a word of encouragement. And even for some woman who may be interested in going in ministry, maybe God has been speaking to them, but they've been apprehensive because of people. They've been apprehensive because they're scared to step out on faith.
Mhm.
They feel like that they're being held back in ministry.
Mhm.
For someone that may be on the just on the brink of going into women's ministry and may be afraid to do so, maybe you need to offer them a word of encouragement. And maybe this time next year they'll be on the honorary list. Take it away.
Absolutely. What I say to you is pray, remain steadfast, And don't worry about what people are saying about you, because people will continue to talk about you. They talked about Jesus, but you continue to be steadfast. Listen to him. What God tells you is what matters. So don't worry about what people are saying. People are going, they've talked from the beginning of time and they'll talk till the end of time. Let them. You don't have to respond to what people are saying. Listen to what God is telling you to do, and then you will never go wrong. That's all that
Amen.
matters.
All
That's all
right,
that
that
matters.
is my friend, that's my sister, that's my classmate, and that's also
Yes.
my fellow laborer in ministry at Monument of Grace Church in Greenwood, Mississippi, where our pastor
Yes.
and her father is Bishop
Yes.
Lee J. Johnson
Mother.
Sr. And we certainly thank God for Shepherd Mother Betty Johnson as well, and
Yes.
all of the other great leaders at Monument of Grace. We're getting ready for Women of Grace Presents Women in Ministry Gala 2024. It is Saturday, June the 8th, and we
Yes.
want to see your face in the place. We'll be telling you more
Absolutely.
about it. We'll be coming back on live to tell you more about it. And maybe the next time we come back, we'll be able to bring either our guest speaker or
Oh,
Sister
yeah.
Joyce Seymour on with us as well,
Yes.
so they can tell you their side on what you can expect on that evening. But
Mhm.
my guest today has been Prophetess Leigh Lasagna Johnson
Yes.
Matthews, and we
Yes.
appreciate Prophetess Leigh for being a part of Isaac Lindsey interviews on the Isaac Lindsey Network. Thank you, Prophetess Leigh, for being a
Thank
part of the
you
show,
so
and
much for
um,
having me.
and we'll be talking real soon. I'll have you back on real soon. All right.
Thank you so much. Good night,
Thank you, and
y'all.
God bless
Have a good
you.
night.
Good
God
night.
bless you as well.
Oh, oh, yeah. Ooh, I'm glad to be. I'm mighty glad to be in the service. I'm mighty glad to be in the service. God, you I'm glad to be in the service. Glad to be in the service of the Lord. Yes, I am. Oh, yeah. In the service. When I think about what He done for me, I get glad. Yes, I am.